Basi nisiwasalimiane ama wasisalimiane. Wow, I am so glad to be in this place, and I really want to appreciate the way you're so organized. I do not know whether you know each other, or I think I only know Mr. Manyara, Mr. Robert. I think he has stepped out, and then Victor. Where is Victor? Victor has been I've been talking to him. Where is Victor? You are the one who've been talking. I really want just to appreciate. I can see, I like the way you're so organized, that everything is timed. So it's like I am still in my workplace, because we have to make sure that everything has to go with time. I think already been introduced. I will just go straight to what I was requested to come and probably give some insights. My cameraman is, am I okay? Or you want me to move there? I'm okay, good. Let me just say this. I have written a few things here, but I'm feeling like, do I need to use this or do I just talk? I'll just try and see how I can be able to be of great support to what you're doing. We are talking about business and media visibility. And there are a few things I've been thinking about. I was feeling like throwing away this presentation because, but I will just try and see how I can be able to manage within the 25 minutes. But I want just to encourage all of us. I do not know which kind of business you're doing, but we always say that it's not good enough to, it's not enough to be good, but you must be visible. It's like we say that if you're having a great product or service without visibility, it's like smiling at a beautiful girl while you're in the dark. So what am I trying to bring out this morning? You are doing business, but do people know about your business outside there? We are living in times, things are changing very fast. You might think that today you're at the top, tomorrow somebody else has just taken over. So we are trying to look at, when you're doing your business, is your business feasible? You can be having a very nice product, but nobody knows about it. You can be having a great service, but there is nobody who knows about the service. So that is one of the key things we want to look at, that we need also to understand that as much as you are doing business, you might be the leading, it's very important for you to understand the degree to which your business is known and recognized by your target audience. You should be able to understand that business visibility is the degree to which your business is known and recognized by your target audience. It covers both the offline and the online presence. I don't want to talk about the logos and other things, but I want us just to understand that when we talk about business, we've been having the traditional media and business. We've been having the traditional way of doing business, whereby we had radio adverts. I'm very sure some of you know about the TV adverts. Probably some of you've done the newspaper. Do you know that there's something else that has just come and it's just thrown all of us? The social media, the new media. Are you in the new media? And how are you leveraging it? Because I was doing some study in our office where I work, and we got some very interesting facts that Kenya is the leading country in the whole world with people who are very active on social media. I don't want to talk about social media and such, but I want also you to understand that we were doing some study, and the study came out, I think it was around February 2025, and it was showing that Kenya, we are the leading in the whole world with people who are very active on social media. We are followed by Chile, and then we are followed by Chile and then South Africa. The last country is Japan. So the question here is, are we idle? Are we doomed? Are we aggressive? When we are the leading people with social media presence. That is why when the other day we did, there was when Media Council of Kenya was doing some research, and it showed that initially we used to run adverts on TV, and of course, which we can, depending on what you're selling. And then the other day when they did the report, when we had the AJA, they said that majority of Kenyans are on TV, and then they are followed by people who are on social media, and then radio comes number 3. So what are we trying to look at? We need also to be very keen, even as we are discussing this morning, who is your customer? Who is your target audience? Who is your customer? Where do you get your clients? Where are they? And then you start asking yourself, which is the best method that I can be able to reach out to my customer or to my audience? Let me go back again to what you were saying. I know, like now in the media industry, we are really having a lot of trouble and a lot of time. We are sitting and we are brainstorming a lot of things because there's a likelihood that in the next few days, we might not be able. I'm very sure even those of you who are here, you've not listened to radio this morning. But kitambo ilikuwa ni radio. But then do you remember those days? I've been staying along with Thika Road. Do you remember those days we used to be on Thika Road, kila mtu akona kitabu? Because unajua unaamka asubuhi traffic jam ya Thika Road, kuna kitabu. And then within a very short time, wakati super highway ilitengenezwa, simu zikaanza kuingia and such, we stopped reading books. Tukakuja kwa simu. So in the morning you wake up, uko kwa simu, unaenda Twitter, unaruka, unaenda kwa YouTube, and such. So I want just also to understand that even as much as, it will depend. There's some other businesses you can have it on radio, some other businesses you can have it on TV, you can have it on the newspaper. But I want you to understand that Kenya, in fact, other places, they think Kenya is the capital city of Africa. Because I think probably it's because when they were struggling to make sure that we're having internet, but I want you to understand, if you are doing business, that Kenya, we are the leading people who are online. Either for the wrong reasons or for the right. Sasa wakuuza biashara wewe, unatafuta mahali watu wako. Are you getting the point? We are the leading. And it's one thing that we've been trying to figure out. Because within a very short time, things are changing. We are not reading the newspapers. Unajua kitambo mtu alikuwa anakuja kwa meeting akona newspaper, we no longer come with the newspapers. So I'm trying to challenge you that you might be having a shop somewhere and you think you're having the audience, you think you're having the clients, and probably your clients are going somewhere else. So for you to remain relevant, you should be very keen about which mode of media am I going to use. So back to what I was saying, I said you can decide depending on who is your customer. Because again, this morning I was just thinking that it's very important for you to understand who are my clients. Am I keeping on getting more clients? Am I getting my target audience there? Am I having more numbers or the numbers are reducing? Who are they? Can you be able to explain who is your target audience? Who takes your products? I like the way my friend that was talking about solar. Whom are you targeting? Where do you find this person? Whom are you targeting? Because we are talking about visibility. People will only come to the person that they are able to. It's like those of you who've been doing construction. Kuna vitu wezi amua kuleta mtu yeyote. Nauliza, do you know his work? Have you ever seen his work? When you're doing construction, sometimes there's some things when you're doing, you ask, do you know his work? Tairi zako mwana mali ameweka? Have you ever seen where he has done his plumbing and such? So that is the same thing we're also trying to look at, that when you're talking about your visibility, you should be able to understand who is your target audience, who is your client? Where is your client? How can you be able to reach your client? Media visibility matters in business because it builds trust and credibility, drives brand awareness, boosts sales and customer loyalty, it attracts opportunities. I understand, kuna watu wengine wanasema, I don't need to advertise because I always get customers. But I'm very sure all of you know that when you're already ahead of everyone, you are at risk. Because mwenye ako nyuma, anatafuta mbinu ya kukupita. So, as much as you are doing well, you are getting your business, you should be able to find a way of making sure that you are visible. Depending on which media model you need to use, remember it's very important for you to find a way. Because like here in Kenya, there is a way people believe media so much. Wamesema radio ilisema, TV ilisema. Very soon, watu wataanza kusema tuliona kwa social media. Kuna vile, but have you ever seen that sometimes social media inaweza kuwa na ukweli mingi, hata kama inaongezanga chumvi, inaweza kuwa na ukweli mingi. Kuna story unaweza kuwa unatafuta because of the ethics. We don't run it on TV, but on social media unaweza ipata iko sawa. True or false? Of course, we're having the issues of regulations and such. But kuna story nyingine unaweza ona hapa Thika Road, unaiona tu na macho yako, and then you see it on TV. In the TV, there's a way, of course, because of other ethics and such. So what are we trying to say? You should be very keen that we have all these mediums of communication. Remember that when you are visible in the media, you build trust and credibility. People get to know what you're doing. You're able to increase your sales. You're able to attract opportunities. I think already I've talked about this, that Kenya, we are the leading, then followed by Chile, South Africa, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, and then the last one is Japan. Again, I'm not saying that you cannot people to do the radio interviews or you can't do the television features, the newspaper magazines and such, but I want us also to understand that there is also the aspect of YouTube blogs, because I'm in the group and I've seen that those people are doing digital marketing and such. I want you to understand that whatever that you are doing, don't just rule it out. That the way things are happening, you need also to understand that how can I be able to make sure that whatever that I'm doing, it can be visible in other platforms. Let me just talk something about how do you improve your business visibility, media visibility. You should be able to craft clear brand message, depending on where you want to communicate, whether you want to do it on TV or you want to do it on radio, you want to do it on newspaper, you want to do it on the online platforms. You should be able to be someone who can be able to craft. You should be able to come up with the messaging. You should be able to create valuable content. You should be able to find a way of engaging. Depending on who you are targeting, you should be able to find a way, how can I be able to engage a media professional in this? How can I be able to use social media actively? How can I be able to pitch to the media outlets? How can I be able to collaborate? Again, it will depend what kind of business are you doing? Where is your customer? Where can you be able to find your customers? And you should be able to find a way. How do I make sure that my message is out? How do I make sure that whatever that I'm bringing out, it's valuable? How do I make sure that I'm engaging? Because remember, media is the one which is amplifying your platform, which is amplifying whatever that you're doing. You should be able to think about that. And then some of the common mistakes that we should be able to avoid is whether you want to do your adverts on TV or you want to do them on radio or you want to do them on social media, because it will depend. I am assuming that you understand that when it comes to radio and TV, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Anybody else ever run an advert on TV? Which station? How much did you spend? I don't want you to tell me the station. How much did you spend? 25? 2.5, yeah. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that, like now where I work, if you want to run an advert for only 45 seconds, between 7, there is what we call the time scales, A, B, C, D. You want to run anything on Citizen between 7 and 9 there. Yeah, 45 seconds. Hiyo kupita tu hivi, 620 million. 620,000 and you want to do it on the radio side, depending on which radio station, it's a lot of money. But again, it gives you a lot of visibility. It gives you a lot of visibility. Again, also it will depend. When you do it a number of times, it will be able to come down. But what am I trying to say? Whether you are doing your adverts or you are creating media visibility on TV, on the newspaper, on the social media platforms, avoid being inconsistent. Today you communicate, the other day you're not communicating. Have you ever seen the way Safaricom has been very consistent all through? Advertise. Have you ever seen? Why? Because they know kuna mwenye atatoka nyuma na atanipita. They've been all through. By the way, right now is when they have gone online. They stopped going to the media, or at least they went online. So what am I trying to say? One of the common mistakes is sometimes you do a lot of those adverts, or maybe media visibility, whether you are doing something and then you invite the media people to come, or you decide to use the social media, or you want to use the newspaper, or you want to use the YouTube. Remember all those mediums, because I said you should be able to know which one. Then for you to remain at the front, or for you to remain at the top, avoid being inconsistent. So which means you might be forced to have somebody who's going to do digital marketing for you. Are you getting that point? So you can decide to have somebody who is making sure that you are feasible through. Because well, I like the way nowadays we are able to get the algorithms. Initially we used to get everything from Ipsos and such for the media, for the TV stations. But nowadays you don't even need that one. If you're on TikTok, you can be able to see the analytics. I'm very sure you know those things. You're able to see who watches your content, anakuwa wapi, akona miaka ngapi. Are you able to see all those things? The same thing with YouTube. So what are we trying to say? The very day you don't post, you never get to see. The numbers, they come down. Kwanza the social media inakuambia, TikTok yako Tuesday inakuanga juu sana. Inakuambia in a given day. Why? Because the way, when you are consistent, you'll be able to have your visibility more. So some of the common mistakes we should be able to avoid is being inconsistent. Today you are shouting loud, the other day you are not there. And number 2 is ignoring digital media. I remember when digital media started in our workplace, walizima Facebook ilitolewa kabisa, because they said this thing is wasting time. And then with the time we discovered watu wako huku. And then now they changed. And nowadays in our workplace, it's a rule, you should be able to do 2 posts per hour. Why? Because the audience is there. The other day I was doing a show, and I'm doing my show, and I go to TikTok, I find another young man from my village who is not even trained in media. He's having 10,000. Akona 10,000 online, usiku. He's doing a dance challenge. So I said, sasa unaweka advert yako wapi? 10,000. Because the other day, last night, by the way, I'm sorry, I came a bit late because I was working until late, and imefika kwangu 1 a.m. So I had to wake up early to come. Yesterday, I saw him online. Akona 20,000. What does someone tell you? And then ukiangalia watu wote, me I'm wondering, wow, ni akina nani wako usiku? But again, he has the audience. Because if you go on TikTok or you go on Facebook and you have only 20 people, na kuna mtu mwingine akona, anaingia Facebook akona 10,000, akona 20,000, what does that one tell you? So what am I trying to say? Another mistake you can do in your business is to ignore digital media. Nasema hiyo ni kitu ya watoto. By the way, when TikTok came nilikataa. Niliingia nikatoka, nikasema hii kitu I didn't know. Unajua TikTok ukiangalia picha mbaya, ukae sometime for some minutes inakuletea mbaya nyingi. Sasa mimi ni kama niliangukia yenye ilikuwa mbaya. Nikasema hii kitu sitaki. Yes, but with the time I discovered, my friend, that is where there's a generation you will never find. I've been in the media for the last 20 years. Kuna watu wanijui, because wenye wananijua ni wale wazee, anybody who is 45, 50, 60, hao wamekuwa kinisikiza. Hao ndio walikuwa. Sasa these young ones, they are not there. You will only find them in Instagram, or you will find them on TikTok. So if you want to sell something and you want to target them, then you should be able to find a way of reaching them. Not responding to media opportunities. Like maybe if you have a business and then there is something that has happened about your business, don't just ignore. Unajua kuna watu wengine wanasema hiyo story muikanyagie chini. Sometimes some things they can happen and then you call for the right to reply, and it can be able to give you more visibility. So another thing, I know many people, they do business and then they say, I don't want to respond to media opportunities, or maybe you are calling and say, I want just to challenge you that if you cannot be able to talk, find somebody, because even right now we are talking, muko na simu munaangalia hapo. What does that one tell you? That is where people are. Hata tukiwa huku mnaona mtu anaangalia simu kidogo. So don't ever refuse those media opportunities that you get. And then failing to measure visibility impact, even as much as you might want to run an advert or you might want to do an event, be very keen also to look at what did I do? And then how did it help me? Because sometimes it's like another guy was telling me, I do on my adverts 3 a.m. You 3 a.m. nani anasikiza? Are you targeting a watchman, or are you targeting somebody whom are you targeting? So what are we trying to look at? Sometimes also when you run any campaign, when you do an advert, whether it's on social media or whatever, also look at. I like the way, even including the social media, because for the media, of course, you should be able to get a report. If you've done an activation on radio, on TV, you should be able to get a report. But always find, whether it's on social media, whether it's on TV, get the feedback. Sometimes inaweza kuwa inakaa chungu kidogo, but get the feedback. Yes, I did this, I did the activation for 1 week, and I didn't get the customers, I didn't get whatever. Probably the time scale. Because again, also one of the big challenges I challenge people when they come for our media house, they ask me, they keep on asking us, we keep on asking them, whom are you targeting? Do you think your customers, you can find them early in the morning, or in the evening, or what time? It's very important for you to look into that. I don't want to look into this. Let me just go to Let me just talk about trends and visibility. Sometimes it's good to be viral, but remember consistency is what builds a brand. Yeah, sometimes you can be viral, but remember consistency. I'll say this, that you can decide, depending on what you're working on, once in a while, probably on TV, on radio, on newspaper, on social media, or whatever, but be consistent. Don't be that person unakuja unapiga kelele and then you just disappear. Consistency is very key. And then if you want to use the new media, make sure that you are posting with purpose and make sure that you're getting the real influence that you're looking for. Sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to communicate? And how am I going to communicate? And then what kind of influence do I want to create? Visibility without consistency is like shouting into the wind. I like the way nowadays you can be able to plan that I will be doing my posting or I will be running an activation. I like the other day we were doing, I don't know whether after Imangu would be able to come in because I ran for him some few adverts on my pages on my social media. And we decided, at some point, he gave me a contract of 6 months. And I told him, sometimes you can be out mambo ya mashamba all through they get bored. So what I decided to do, by the way, I work with the guests, I guess it's for the Kisii community in Royal Media Services. And my biggest audience, wanakuanga ni wa Kisii wako US. That is my biggest audience. If you have a business and you want to reach out to the Kisiis in the US, including our sister who became the House of Representatives, a very good close friend of mine, I have my biggest audience are those people. So, like now, right now, I'm running some adverts for him. Why? Because I discovered that you don't need to talk a lot. Number one, people look at who you are and how they respect your brand. And then number two, whatever they are getting. Like now, I don't know whether after Mwangi will be able to come in because I told him to accompany me. I'm running his advert for 2 weeks. Tumeanza 2 weeks moja and already we've gotten clients. And he's selling plots in Kitengela going for $80.99. We've done many with him, many. Why? Because I discovered it's also good to know. And there's one time another professor gave me to sell his houses in Karen. Karen, somewhere Rungai and Karen, somewhere between there. They were going for 24 million. There were 10 of them. And then when I posted, watu wakaniambia na wewe unakuanga na nini? Nani atanunua nyumba ya 24 million? But you know what shocked me? Those who wanted to buy, they came to my inbox. So what am I trying to say? Post with purpose. Sometimes kuna watu wanaangalia na wasemi kitu, but they are seeing whatever you are doing. So people made a lot of jokes, watu wakasema na hii uchumi, but somebody came to my inbox. Yesterday night, somebody came to my TikTok. I did something and nikamwambia, "Hi cousins, tuende tuimbe wimbo Kitengela." And then nikakaa tu hiyo kitu kama inasonga, nikamweka TikTok. And then within a very short time, I was able to find somebody coming akaniuliza. Kwanza aliniongelesha na namba ya Kenya, nikasema huyu hata sioni kama ni mtu serious. Kumbe ni mtu wa US, ametumia namba ya Kenya. And then by the end of the day, biashara iliingia. So what am I trying to say? Visibility is very important. Just make sure that you post. Another thing also, you can also think of riding with the trend. Yes. Sometimes Wakenya wanakuanga online. So jana, the whole of yesterday, it was a very sad day because of whatever that happened to the young man who was killed. But Wakenya pia, they are very hyper. When they are hyper, they are doing whatever they are doing. Find also a way of riding with the trend. Yeah? The other day, Wamunyora alikuwa ametuambia, "Hi cousins." People have been doing adverts using hi cousins. Yeah? I did another challenge which was saying, there's this one that, have you seen Mimi ni fire, Masi fire? Have you seen the deputy president? And people are riding with that. Why? Because Mimi ni fire, Masi fire. And then people are just watching. And then you find that thing has gone up to 50,000 views. And then I like the way people are very creative. You become creative with that one. Naambia Mimi ni fire, Masi fire. And then naambia niko na whatever that you are selling, kama ni solar and whatever. So be very creative. You can be able to find out. You can be able to ride with the trend. Can you find how your brand can be able to get into that? What are people talking about? Get into the conversation, and be very timely and relevant. Be very keen. That is why I'm saying that sometimes, because of where we are going, then you need to have somebody who can be very creative, who can be able to go with whatever that is happening. Because whether people are watching, they are not responding, or they are commenting, people are reading, and people are seeing that. You can use also the hashtags, if you can be able to do that. Find out what is happening. But at the same time, also, even as much as you are doing these things, also be very sensitive with what you are saying, so that, like now we are talking about the budget. That is the that's the topic of the day. Find how can you be able to sell your business with that. Because even when we talk about the searches, I'm very sure, Robert, you're the one who does all those things. Then you should be able to find out that this is what is happening, this is what is trending. How can I be able to be part of that so that I can be able to tap into that? I think I want just to finish because my time is up. But again, I want also to be very, there's one thing I've discovered. Ukiuza shamba, ukiambia watu nunua shamba, people don't want to look into that. Sometimes there's some things you are very hard to sell. So find a way you can be able to create some fun or something like that. I have discovered, like nowadays I sell land, ama nyumba, and I don't even talk about. I get somebody and we are doing something very interesting. We are talking and then we do the squeeze pack. Because ukiambia watu, by the way, even know that Kenyans online, hawatakangi vitu serious. Hata how to save money for investment, they don't. Leta ujinga watakuwa hapo. Why? People are so stressed, they want something for entertainment. So one of the key things I'm doing when I'm doing my adverts nowadays, are you seeing the way Rico Mondi is selling? Yes. Are you seeing that? Why? Because it brings in comedy. Hata wewe mwenyewe utakangi vitu ngumu. You want some light moments. So nowadays, you can also think about you want to sell something, and then just make sure that you have some light moments, and then do a squeeze back. Unaweza mwa tu mnapiga tu joke, and then you do a squeeze back. A squeeze back is when you are talking and then unaweka advert tu hapo. You have this and that. Why? Because people will keep on watching, they watch, and then mpaka wafike na hii kitu umeweka hapa kando ni nini. By the way, you just go and look. When I do content, naambia watu how to save money for investment, how to do this. But when you bring in some light moments, watu wanakuwa wengi. So that is one thing we should be able to. By the way, Kenyans, it's like we love politics. Ukiweka ya politics, watu watakuwa wengi. Mchezo. And then ukileta mambo ya relationships from a different perspective. Usiambia watu relationships unafaa kuwa hivi. Ukileta mchezo ngine. But now, we don't want to go into that, but what we are trying to say, how can you be able to tap into where people are, and then you find a way of selling. I think I need to finish. I'll just challenge you, depending on what business you are doing, you can think of booking a radio interview. You can think of setting a podcast. You can think of sharing your brand story online. Be loud about your value. The world is listening. Because my time is up. I have done 2 books. I think I've done 4 books, but I came with 2 books. I've done one, Quest for Personal Growth. It's more about, sometimes we sit in meetings discussing about how an organization can become great, how we can do that, but do we really have time to discuss about how can I become or value myself? So this is one I've done, and then also I've done another one called Maximizing Your Skills and Talents. We have so many things that we can be able to do. You might discover that you have so much, but you're only focusing on what probably one area, but there are so many other things. There are some skills you've learned, there are some skills that you were born with, and you need to use them. So I have tried to bring that, because I discovered I do many things. Hata kama ni kidogo, I teach, I am working in the media, I'm doing this and that and that. And then I discovered, probably because of our systems, if we were in other countries where we are paid very well, you can be able to do one thing. So I'm challenging Kenyans, and I'm looking at majority of you Kenyans, that you can also be able to think about how can I be able to maximize the talents that I have. You might be here and you're very good in making cakes, and you can be able to do that. You can be able to do that to get an extra coin. You can be here and you can be able to do something else. There are so many, if you can be able to get a copy of this, each they're going for 1,000. So if you pick 2, they're going for 2,000. My time is up. I don't want to become a bother when my time is up. I want just to stop there. Thank you so much for your time.